first 40-foot container landed in Kenya, and I actually realized the magnitude of the business I had started. And then I was told, do you have cars to distribute? I was like, no. Do you have wholesalers, distributors? Who are those? I remember my uncle who was in sales just told me, you need to lease a van and start distributing, because no one is going to touch you.
So you distribute yourself.
So I started, yes.
And this
I
is
got a
where
van,
you become the CEO,
became the
sales.
driver, the sales, and everything. Try to just gain a market share and understand what that is. The biggest challenge of import is if you don't have enough funding to be able to sustain that business, the dips of coming into the market, out of the market, really makes you restart the process again every time you have a problem.
You plan for demand, then you convert it into materials. If you have production, then you do production, and if you're importing, then you bring in the finished goods from outside. So it creates for you a supply plan.
It translates to 7 out of 10 women. So we may be 10 women in a room, and 7 of us do not have the access or cannot afford the product. So when we were thinking through, it was, can we just reduce that percentage to 1? If we could just take it down to 64, then I'll have done my part in this country.
We were chasing capital funding, so meaning that KEPSA gives us access to investors, right? And that was through the MasterCard Foundation program. I believe in my previous life, KEPSA, we used to come to KEPSA to meet policymakers and lobby government, right? And I believe that's yet another access avenue that KEPSA plays in the market, which is pretty important.
It is scary, and scary as hell, to think that you may pose a business that you had created and put all your cert in it, but it is not a failure. In fact, posing is actually courage.
Build a system. And by system, I don't mean just tech. I'm talking about the processes that would help my business run. And then those same processes are the ones that I would take to somebody else. I'm using my own tech in my own business to run my other departments. Then I'm now saying, okay, maybe I could also roll it out there, and I've added features that would compete globally, in my view.
To the conversation, we had a little banter earlier, and I can already tell that it's going to be fire.
Brought to you by CH Studios, creating content that connects.
This year's MSME Day, celebrated on the 27th of June, is themed the future generation of MSMEs. And that is why in this conversation of SMEs Diaries, I am joined by 2 entrepreneurs who are redefining not just the future of entrepreneurship, but actually the current status of what that means. And I'm joined by Lorna Joyce, founder of Binti Pads, and Kenneth Karoki, founder of Berrycom, and they will be telling us a little bit more about their companies before we deep dive into the conversation of how putting people at the center of SMEs or of businesses is actually more important and more urgent now more than ever. I hope you enjoy the show. This is a KEPSA Exchange podcast in partnership with CH Studios in Westlands. Karibuni sana, guys.
Asante.
I do hope you actually enjoy, because I'm really looking forward to the conversation. We had a little banter earlier, and I can already tell that it's going to be fire. But Lorna, please start off by introducing yourself.
So my name is Lorna Joyce. I am a co-founder and the CEO of Binti Marvels Limited, a company geared towards providing menstrual health solution in Kenya for women. And we are the proprietors of Binti Pads, which are our product, and Mrembo, which is our now fast local made products. And the idea is to not just provide product, but to also give awareness, education, and dignity to the women and girls that we serve in Kenya. Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear a little bit more. It's a coincidence. Not too long ago, I also hosted a lady, an amazing lady who is also, producing pads, but there is reusable ones. Yeah, yes. So that was also an interesting conversation, and it's good to also hear, your perspectives on,
Yeah.
on menstrual and especially on the product side,
Yeah.
from a manufacturing perspective. And Kenneth, unaingiaje kwa hii conversation?
Wow. So I am Kenneth Karoki, and I'm the founder and CEO of Berrycom Limited. My background has been in supply chain, in logistics, in technology, and in business transformation. And I've been a consultant for quite a bit in those areas. I was fortunate to implement systems owned by international people. And with that, then I saw real operational challenges at play. And I also saw opportunities that were not addressed by those particular systems. So I went on ahead to create a solution that would address those concerns for our clients. And you can imagine the benefit of being a consultant, knowing what the issues are, and now tooling it, coming through with tools that will help our clients. So that's how I come into the conversation today.
And next time, probably I'll have you as my co-host, because clearly in your past life, you are a radio host, and this one here probably a TV host. So we are in a good, combination, a good space, and it's quite exciting.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm already seeing, linkages between your two businesses.
Yeah.
And I know you're doing good in your own ways. But earlier you mentioned when we were just, identifying, where we each other fit, how as a manufacturer, you already see him as a solution provider to one of your challenges, if you can touch on that.
When we were speaking and he spoke about logistics, when you're starting a business, if you've not been in the space of business and you're just coming in, there's so many things you can know or learn, and then there's others that you learn along the way. So when we were starting Binti Marvels, for us it was, how do we just get to that one lady who might not afford a product or who would really need a product? We didn't think through how we were going to distribute it. As it was, the fairy tale of it is, I have a product, I'll figure out where to get it, how to get it to her, and how she's going to get it had never been a thing in our heads until the first 40-foot container landed in Kenya, and I actually realized the magnitude of the business I had started. And then I was told, do you have cars to distribute? I was like, no. Do you have wholesalers, distributors? Who are those? I come from a background of aviation, so for me, it's a completely new venture, and information is not forthcoming. And by the time I was doing the research and figuring out, first of all, how to create a product for that girl or woman that I'm looking to give, and then I would dive into distribution. I remember my uncle who was in sales just told me, you need to lease a van and start distributing, because no one is going to touch you in.
So you distribute yourself.
So I started, yes.
And this
I
is
got a
where
van,
you become the CEO,
became
the sales.
driver, the sales, and everything.
All of it.
Just trying to get into the shops, trying to get into organizations just to pitch whatever it is that I was selling. When he speaks about logistics, it would be awesome to know, is it distributing through a courier service? Is it a pre-planned? I have tried to move around here to find distribution partners who can even assist us, and it is either too expensive or it is the timeline delays, because for us, the product that we manufacture is an emergency product. That's how we see it. So if someone right now says, in the next 1 hour, I need parts delivered to my office, you can't start saying, our delivery system is for 24 hours, you wait until tomorrow, you have lost that person. So I was trying to really keenly understand, like, how would we sit down and even structure something? Yeah.
Is that one of the gaps that you mentioned earlier you've seen with your clients before you started your solution?
Absolutely. And when you listen to the challenges that are coming through, there are solutions to them. For instance, you can have courier, but courier is more often than not expensive, right? Then the next sweet spot becomes, before you own, is you lease, right? And you get a rate card that is quite efficient for you and your business. And there are people out there who are willing to actually lease their vehicles to you for a whole day, which is cheaper than doing courier, which is per trip, right? So there are certain configurations that can be put in place to assist in this particular case. Now, when now you talk about layering technology, what we did was we looked at that as a problem and saw that many businesses then would hire or lease that particular transport, and then the vehicle is not efficiently utilized, right? So what we did was embed what we call route optimization technology or capability into our system. So what it does is it follows demand. So it will tell you this particular vehicle will be best utilized by going to deliver customers in a particular segment of your market. And so with that, then you'll be able to utilize that particular vehicle fully, and you'll get value for money. So whatever you spent on, you'll really sweat that particular asset for you. And so there are different configurations, and indeed there is a sweet spot for any challenge. I think it's solvable.
I feel like you have a follow-up question on that.
Distribution is quite it's you have here, you have local, you have out of town, you have, is it a on demand, is it a day lease, is it a monthly lease, is it like trying to even sit down with logistics companies and explain to them this is our challenge. I think before it used to be they see the challenge and then they're like, I'll slap you with a bill that you've never seen in your life. Well, everything comes from the margin that you've input in this product. So if the cost of distributing this product is 2 times higher than what it is that I am making it from, it wouldn't really make business sense. So
maybe
finding a reliable partner has been quite a challenge.
Yeah, so maybe we go a little down into actually, giving us a better picture of how your business works from this shipment involved.
Yeah.
So that's logistics level number 1. And then it has gotten to you.
Yeah.
Is there what is the percentage of manufacturing that happens when the product, is it raw materials that actually come in and then you manufacture that locally?
Yeah.
Or how does it work? So then I think having that understanding then
It's
also
easier
helps
for him to get
an understanding of what solution can come to mind.
So when we started, we had our main anchor brand is Binti Pads, and Binti Pads was more of an import. We wanted to really start, which was back in 2021 when we were toying with the idea of starting a sanitary pads company. It was much easier to outsource manufacturing rather than produce here, because the taxes, everything that is waiting for you with the machines, we were not able to have that kind of funding at the time. So we outsourced manufacturing in China. The beauty of also that was it was, compared to what we would get here, it was much more affordable. And at the same time, the quality that we were getting was something that we had counter-checked based off the manufacturing for the markets of Europe and the US. So we knew the product that we would get, first of all, was optimum. Then it would take 2 months to manufacture and then do R&D. And then eventually in 2022, our first shipment arrived in Kenya. Through that, we thought it was best to first of all start that before we enter into the local market to do manufacturing. Because what if you put in the investment of machines and it doesn't pick up, or you don't even know what it is that you're doing? And subsequent 2022, 2023, 4 until last year was when import became, it was our main business. So we would bring in, put it in a warehouse, and then get our salespeople and our drivers and our 2 leased vans and motorbikes to now do distribution within Nairobi and its environments. And then outside would position, maybe use buses or cars that are traveling towards outside. try to just gain a market share and understand what that is. The biggest challenge of import is if you don't have enough funding to be able to sustain that business, the dips of coming into the market, out of the market, really makes you restart the process again every time you have a product. So what we did was we paused operations last year. So our anchor brand, which was Binti, had to first of all take a break because it was a burnout experience at that point. 3 years in, and you're probably not breaking even, because if you have dips in the market with gap of product, then we had to re-strategize. So 2025 around May, we took a break to now rethink, okay, so what's a sustainable angle? Because the sustainability of this is having the product first of all available. You'll teach women about menstrual health, education, and all of it, and awareness, but if you don't have the product, then at the end of it, there's no business. Yes. So we got into local manufacturing through partnership. One of the leading manufacturers in Kenya for menstrual product sat with us down and understood our challenge. And we came up with what we have, which is Mrembo. And Mrembo, in as much as it's a good quality, it's the same thing as what Binti is. It is still slightly higher in terms of manufacturing, but it's still a product that at least I know I can be able to provide in the market. By that, it means now the product is manufactured, stored in the warehouse, and then my work is to now ensure distribution. So it's still the same thing as what we're doing with import. It's just that I'm not handling anything around raw materials, anything. I'm just now doing the distribution part. Yes. Yeah. So now with that, then you'd see where I would need. And so when we're even discussing about distributors and wholesalers, it's even this being a new product, having toiled for 3-4 years in the market with my previous brand, when you rock up to them with, now I have them, remember, they're like, it's a new product.
Yeah.
Figure out how to get it
marketing
into.
part of it now.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to be operating in different verticals. So, for instance, we have a division that offers transportation solutions to clientele. And in that particular business or side of the division, we have trucks that go delivering from customer to customer the whole day. We have, you're given a load manifest or a trip manifest with over 40 customers, and you go delivering. But that's for a business that has that volume or that demand for us to be able to support that operation. Then I'm also fortunate enough to have a manufacturing division, as I mentioned. But the volumes there, it's growing. It's a growing business, perhaps like yourself. So what do I do then when I want to deliver? I would hire for that day. I would hire for that trip, and I would pay for that trip so that I utilize somebody else's vehicle and not necessarily bring mine out of the contract that is there. So there's an opportunity there then for that type of model where you pay per day. You need the vehicle today, you pay for it. And transport today is a commodity. You'll be able to get that type of solution out there. When you look at, let me cross-relate that to your inbound activity, which is handling the shipments from China through the port inland. You see, when you have a 40-foot container coming through, you will hire a truck for that day. And it's that haulier 40-foot bringing to your factory. Then after that, you release that truck. It's the same thing with outbound logistics when you have to do distribution in that perspective. So in some cases, you do not need to have a monthly contract. You do a spot contract on that day. But where your volumes allow, that's when now you can engage in the monthly contracts and you negotiate better. Of course, when you promise a transporter like myself volumes, I give you discounts. If you want the spot rate, then you'll get for the day and it moves. So there are solutions like that that are available from a logistics standpoint.
Is it product dependent? Can that model, for instance, the demand-based model apply to any product, or is it dependent on the demand levels on her side, as well as the type of product itself that a client is selling? But also, I think in terms of also your coverage in terms of distribution, where your clients are.
Yeah, there.
A vehicle is a vehicle. The only difference is your products would need a cover body truck. So you'll get cover bodied trucks. Again, there are so many out there. If, let's say, you're doing fuel or a liquid-based product, then you'd get the trucks that have a tanker body at the back, and that would be the difference. But the trucks are there, the vehicles are there. If it's cover body, it's cover body. If you want an open back truck,
if you're transporting, say, vegetables and stuff like that,
then you'll get that, and the vehicles are there. The good thing is, I believe the transport market is very much structured. And so what you will find is largely competition on price. The owners of the transport assets want to compete on price, get their assets busy. So it's based. The opportunity is where are all those guys? Where will you find them? Right? You don't find them easily.
Yeah.
You really have to have your pulse into the market to know where they are. And that's yet another opportunity that we'll get into. Some of these, what are they called? These startups, venture-funded startups, tried to organize that area, but eventually they crashed out. So there's a big market there.
So which one have you grasped yourself?
Do you own the cars? Do you lease the cars? Do you is it a partnership between your company and the vehicles, or even motorbikes? Because in some places they probably say need motorbikes. What do you have?
So Bericom owns trucks, but we also lease. So where demand exceeds our capacity, then we will engage with transporters on your behalf and then provide that service. And then what we've done is layered on that and provided a control tower service. So we provide the monitoring of the deliveries throughout the day. And then now that's why we put in the technology. So we came in and said, let's now put in technology on top of that and see how we will solve the problems for our customers and our customer's customer. Because the need was, will they get their product on time when their shops are open? And then my customers are like, we can't even monitor. Can you help us monitor and ensure that your teams get there on time? And we do that.
And it's interesting because we were hosting a session the other day on AI for business, and most businesses are still at the identification stage for AI, like still trying to actually figure out what is this thing and what can we do with it, or what can it do for us. So it's always interesting to meet businesses, and especially at the SME level, that have already identified where technology and AI particularly will come in to not just help them optimize their operations, but to provide a solution. It becomes part of the asset to provide solutions for the clients. And if you don't mind, I'm assuming, do I get, if I'm a client, for instance, do I get to download an app where I can track my product as it goes, or is it done on your side and then you give me, or how does it work exactly?
So we've developed a tool that looks at the entire supply chain, right from when you're planning for demand. Let me just go deeper there a bit. You plan for demand, then you convert it into materials. If you have production, then you do production, and if you're importing, then you bring in the finished goods from outside. So it creates for you a supply plan. And when it creates that for you, what it actually does is it optimizes your inventory for you. Then with that, then you're able to manage your working capital better. So you won't be out of stock, and then you won't have excess inventory, right? And for businesses, they'll struggle when they put money in the wrong places. So for you to get that type of a solution, we need to be in contact. We look at your process, then we configure. So and it's not difficult. We have to onboard you, and it's more of a licensing model type of thing. The same way you would do the packages you have on your computer. I'm trying to avoid mentioning brands because my brand is number one, and it will beat all of them. So I think with that, then we will then work with you on the onboarding journey. Without a doubt, we've made it simple in such a way that the way you buy Microsoft in the shelf, we will easily make you access our executable files and you run it. But we want to walk that journey with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that become another product that you offer me as a client apart from the logistics, or is it part of the package?
All these are separate products. Yeah.
Okay.
When you let's say take us for our logistics service, you may not need our technology service.
But utaniambia, by the way,
Yes, kuna hii.
This can help.
Yes, kuna hii, it can help you out. There are those who will come and say, Ken, we don't need your transport service. We need your technology. We need the tracking and all that, and the capability to plan the control tower solution. And we will give that, and then configure it. In fact, there are these guys who operate the big ERPs. We actually have capability via APIs to pick, let's say, the POs they have in there and help them track. There's a question one guy asked the day before yesterday. How could we have told that the Strait of Hormuz was going to be a mess, right? Well, you may never know how the president of the US will make a decision, right?
Yeah.
But the moment he makes that decision, our tool actually has capability of now picking that intelligence from his grapevine, which we call data aggregators. We will pick that information and then avail it to businesses locally and tell them things are going to be thick in the Middle East. Why don't you move in a different direction?
Yeah.
Maybe use air freight, maybe use a different sea route and all that stuff. So we can be able to give that type of intelligence. And that's AI now. That's AI at work. And it's available in there. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We need to become friends.
Please,
I don't know
please.
about you.
That's very big. I really give a huge recommendation to the transport partner that when I was starting Binti, at the time before it fell Sandy, they did a lot of distribution for us in terms of the online, because our biggest customer at the time was someone who couldn't go to a shop to find our product.
Correct.
And not listed in the main supermarkets or the Naivas and Carrefours. So they were the online partner or support for us. And the bit of how they were able to give us a favorable price point was because they were aggregating many businesses together and then doing a delivery. Is it the same way as yours, or is it that you as Lorna, you come, now this is your truck, or this is your van, or this is your, or do you aggregate businesses together with their product? And do you even store the product in a warehouse, or do they come to our place, pick up the product, and then I'll go move?
So our model is not aggregation in that type yet.
Okay.
I've played in the e-commerce space a bit to know what to avoid at this point. For us, what we're doing today is providing a dedicated transport solution. And I'll give you an example again. We've spoken about the monthly contract. So even if you talk about the daily or a trip rate, right? That trip will be yours. It won't be shared with anybody else. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we do today.
Because because of the convenience and ease of distribution.
Correct.
If you have so many people that you're distributing products to, yours might end up probably losing out, and it's a fight between the businesses where you were supposed to deliver product within a certain time,
And you didn't.
and it didn't. Okay.
Correct.
I will get a hold of him.
Please,
on the
please.
side.
Yeah.
Linkages happen.
Thank you
here.
Yes.
for that.
Thanks to Kepsa.
Yes. And we'll come to that later. But for now, you're constantly referring to you being able to reach your customer. And of course, the reason why you're selling a product is because you do require and you do need to reach that customer.
Yeah.
Putting people and the people's needs at the center of your business does seem to be quite critical. Yeah. If you could dive deep a bit into that, and I would also want to know where me, if I was your customer, where do I find your products? And also what sets you apart?
Yeah.
If I go, let's say in a supermarket or
Yes.
a mart, I don't know if you place it there. Why do I, apart from the beautiful packaging, I must say, why do I go for Brembo?
So ideally, I'd say, first of all, in the space of menstrual health, the key players are men. And so when a man is making a product for a woman, and that product, quote unquote, how to me, it becomes quite a challenge for them. But if they actually incorporated women into their space to understand the challenges of women, then they would understand tweaking what a product for a woman would be. Now, in us getting into menstrual health, there are three main challenges in the menstrual health space, which is period poverty, the lack and access of product, and then there's a shame and stigma that comes with it. Yeah. So shame is we can't even speak about it here, or you're going to pick it up from a store and someone is like, is that a product is that pads that you're buying on the shelf? Or even when you go to a shop and you ask for Always or whatever brand, it's like already that's in someone's mind that's a pad that you're buying. That's the shame around it. The stigma is even shunning from just being around you when it's the time of the month or anything around menstruation. Far up north, women and girls are told to leave the community, to go sit in a place, to on the floor or the ground, dig a hole and menstruate from there for those 7 days and then come back to integrate to the community. So trying to eradicate all of that while giving accessibility of a product, it's a huge gap. In Kenya, we have 65% of women who do not have access, keyword access. And then the next thing is affordability and quality of product. So when you look through that, it translates to 7 out of 10 women. So we may be 10 women in a room and 7 of us do not have the access or cannot afford the product. So when we were thinking through, it was, can we just reduce that percentage to 1? If we could just take it down to 64, then I'll have done my part in this country. And with that, you don't just wake up and also produce something because you think, now it's 65, let me go take the smallest length, bring the puffiest pad and, give it to the market. That same person who's facing that problem most often has a solution to it. So sitting down, talking to women, understanding. Now, if the package already just looked like something that they would already feel, my periods are here, oh my God. You just don't want to associate with it. But if that package already is inviting from that shelf, it's like, okay, great, someone thought about me when they were creating a product.
It's reducing the stress
so
that comes with it.
Exactly. So it starts from even how you view that product. Beyond that, if you went to a shop and asked for this product, someone would be like, what's that chocolate? So it already gives the person who feels the shame and stigma around it that someone at first glance wouldn't know what it is. Yeah. Most people have said this looks like chocolate. Someone has told me it's a perfume. We have our panty liners that literally are in a box that looks like a perfume. So if a man was here, they wouldn't quite tell what that is. So that was the basis of how we were creating. And that feedback came from the women. We had to talk to them. Yeah. You can't just sit in your head and think, they're facing through problems of periods. What do I think? Beyond that, the length of the product, the the way it feels on their skin.
Yeah.
So if you go and bring me a synthetic product that at the top this part is already itchy or rubs against my skin and gives me friction, have you really solved a problem? Sour, yes, you might have brought a product. It's there, it's affordable, it's in the market. But at the end of the day, that person who uses it ends up going to the hospital and chucks more money than what, they're trying to save. So the length, the quality, the gum, it had to come from the women, because someone will tell you the maternity pads that are in Kenya are just one big block of a pad. And that was such a formation, I'd probably say, from a man, because if he doesn't have wings to hold on to something, how, and it shifts, and do you see the stress that you put someone in?
The applicability of it is not thought
so
through.
when we were bringing our extra long pads, women kept saying, we love your regular pads, would you bring long ones for the night? And when you say long, for me, I'll not just go for a long, it will be like the longest
Because
product.
a lot of women actually do two during the night.
The day
two.
and then,
No, actually two
oh, yes,
pads, so that
this and
to
you
add
yes,
the length
yes.
of the night.
That's already a problem that we were trying to solve. So when you ask women what they use and they tell you we use two pads, that's already not economical. So we went and brought in the longest. And then through that, someone actually said, your pads saved me from postpartum because I used them for maternity. That was not the intention. But if I'm thinking through what that woman wants and then discussing with them and hearing their feedback, then I create something that's tailored for them. So I'd say the key factor or the biggest point of why our brand and not maybe others, it is because we listen to the woman. I'm a woman who uses the same product, who struggles with the same problems, sharing something that I've created that is for the women. Yes.
Want to become an ambassador?
Absolutely, 100%. The sweetness is I have a wife and I have a daughter. So
Yeah. So these conversations have
daughters,
to happen.
daughters.
Daughters have to happen on the table.
And
Absolutely.
we actually include men in our thinking, because it's not that, because men are the ones who are doing it in quote unquote the wrong way, that it's actually fun when you include them, because in fact my co-founder is a man. And when you ask him about periods and products around, he will give you a full brief. You won't even you'd
believe
in fact most of the women when he starts talking, it's like, have you used the product? Because you're talking like someone who actually understands what it is. But when you bring men into the conversation, then you get to understand why this and why not this.
Correct.
And then you've said it, you have wives, you have sisters, you have daughters, and you'd want them to use something that really actually takes care of them and does not even harm them. So for me, even in the awareness and education that we do bring a lot of men into the conversation. Yes.
And where do they find?
So we have different ways that we distribute the product. For someone who's in, maybe I'd say we are in the mass market at the moment. So it's your shops, your mini marts, the corner mart that became a supermarket around. We are yet in the big supermarkets, but we're in tier 2s and tier 3s, your wholesale here and there in town, different just spaces who have uptaken our product. We are in, I'd say, 5 counties at the moment. Nairobi and its environments, the Kiambu, the Machakos, the Kajiado, down to Thika, all the way to Embu. We are also online, so if you cannot find us in your nearest convenience place, you actually find us on our WhatsApp, on our social media. Our phone number is what we sell. The idea is you can be able to touch us and you can be able to speak to us, that whatever challenge you may go, if you need a product, it's there. After use, you can give us feedback. We would want women to actually be investors of this brand, because it's theirs. I don't want it to be like, this is Lorna's business. This is my product.
Yes.
I really wanted women to fully understand that this was for them.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that people-centeredness, that human-centeredness into it. And I know even in the logistics space, already you're trying to understand, for instance, her business for you to be able to provide the appropriate solution to it.
Correct.
For you to be able to solve solutions for your clients, you have to have a very close relationship with them.
Yeah.
And I believe the human-centeredness of it then also applies to you. I don't know whether you have some experiences with it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at what we do, and here let me focus on the AI technology aspect of it. The customers that we are dealing with deserve and desire trust. They desire reliability. The employees who work for those particular customers of ours, they want purpose. They're looking for purpose. They're looking for impact in their daily execution. And then all these people, being customers and employees, live in a community setting, right? And so that community then desires meaningful value, right? So at the end of the day, when we provide our particular tool to a particular customer, you've just made people's jobs easier, more fulfilling. You've provided an assured, sustainable job opportunity for particular individuals. And the customers then will bank on the reliability. In fact, let me even extend it to my customers' customers, right? They will now see my customer as reliable when they're delivering, right? Now, when you are solving the issues for all these people in different facets, but they're all in one ecosystem, what have you just done? You've built an army of loyal soldiers. Yep. So you've just built loyalty across that chain. Now, when you have loyalty there, what does it do to my business and their business? It means then that we have long-term growth. Yeah. We have sustainable growth across the chain. So we'll be able to address those markets, let me say, cost efficiently, number one, and then reliably, number two. So yeah, that I think would be the play that we would look at from a people-centered perspective.
That's very impressive, because you start looking at the bigger picture. You start looking at return customers and referrals as well.
Correct.
And before you know it, I think actually that is how we grow the businesses. That is how today you wake up and you are distributing to 2 marts, mini marts, but then a customer went there and they referred, but your customer, the new customer, is not able to find that product in their mini mart and say, are you able now to position your product in this mini mart? And earlier you also mentioned, for instance, thanks to KEPSA, that you're able to have connections as such. And I would want to hear your experiences with KEPSA respectively, starting with yourself.
Oh, amazing. I think KEPSA provides access, and access in various ways. Like we are here today, right? This gives us visibility, and that is access to markets potentially. There's also another angle that I was involved in last year, which was we were chasing capital funding. So meaning that KEPSA gives us access to investors, right? And that was through the MasterCard Foundation program. I believe in my previous life, KEPSA, we used to come to KEPSA to meet policymakers and lobby government, right? And I believe that's yet another access avenue that KEPSA plays in the market, which is pretty important. So, but today, what I'm crying for is access to markets.
True.
I want customers. I want to be able
to grow the business.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I did give you one of the secrets that you need to take up. Follow it up.
Absolutely, we will.
I've had the pleasure of interacting with KEPSA. In fact, before I even knew of KEPSA, my co-founder had it was a field visit that we're called to, and he learned a lot around manufacturing in, I think it was Del Monte, or the guys making Imtica. Yeah. So that was the first.
The benchmarking to
Yes,
us.
yes. So already that gave us an understanding that there could be much more, that in search of maybe like-minded people who are in that space. For me, I feel being in the space of menstrual health, it is, we are a lot, but we also, for the pool of market that is there, we should be collaborating as opposed to seeing each other as competitors. And through that, if then KEPSA understands or knows these key players, could bring us together into a space, and we could build something much more bigger. Beyond that, the fundraising space is a headache. And I've
For
had
everyone,
a few,
whether you
I've
are a
had
small,
a few.
medium, or large enterprise.
Correct.
Wow,
Yeah.
it has really at least opened my eyes, and even trained, because I went through a financial training with them, and I learned quite a lot on those 2 days around fundraising and what to even how to pitch myself and to who, because I mainly know how to pitch myself to impact investors, less of the capitalists who want margins and what is my profit. So just understanding the two different places and how to position and how to even switch very fast to know this is a person in that space and this is an impact investor. So I've learned quite a lot, and then the visibility, because this is one of a good channel to actually speak, and in not just probably our customers, but even collaborators within the industry, like the players or the members in KEPSA. So yeah.
Very true. Also, take up the other advice. I'm gonna follow up with you both
Please do.
until it's done.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that those interactions, because I think, and especially under the SME development, most of the MSMEs have really benefited. Number one, from market linkages, and the visibility that you have mentioned, but also access to finances, to funding through different programs and opportunities. But for someone who's listening to you right now, and probably they're wondering, you mentioned that it took you 3 years with the import side of business, and you were like, I need to sit back and re-strategize and then start again, or rather move from where you figured that you were doing to where you were. Would you say you're in a better position now? Did you make the right decisions? What were the biggest lessons that you have learned so far that you would want to share to someone who is probably getting started or has started but is in that space of, I need to take a step back and rethink my strategy?
Yeah. I'd say getting into local manufacturing really was an eye-opener, and the sustainability around it is good, because that means perpetually I'll always have a product. That means the gap that I used to keep having, I'll have sealed that loop. Also understanding how to get my import brand, the Binti brands, now to fully local, because if I'm able to make a similar good quality, then I'm able to now get the machines to be able to manufacture here. And through the partnership that I had with the contract manufacturing, it also opened my eye to see that I can actually I don't need to buy the whole production line. I can just buy parts and collaborate and create my brands. Subsequently, I also understood that there's that same education and gap that we're missing in how manufacturers see this country in terms of production of menstrual health. If I brought better machines for different things, I could actually not capture just Kenya, but probably the whole of East Africa and beyond. Because some of the machines, I'd say, like panty liners, we don't make panty liners in Kenya. The only place I'd say is South Africa. They're the only ones. We don't have extra long pads being made in Kenya. So if a manufacturer is able to just hold space for me with the larger production, and I bring in parts of machines, then I've gone ahead to be able to create a sustainability for the other brands. So that's the major thing for me, shifting into local production. At the same time, I'm also going to tell someone who's in that space that it is scary, and scary as hell, to think that you might pose a business that you had created and put all your cert in it, but it is not a failure. In fact, pausing is actually courage. Pausing to rethink so that you can move, it's the best decision that I made. With that, then I know even you get time to analyze what we were doing, the distribution model that we were doing, was it working? The number of 170 employees that I had, were they really effective in the business? And even when you're now restarting, I'm not restarting from a place of inexperience. I have a lot of experience now. And I am able to know where to allocate everything. While he speaks of AI, I have actually seen that as the biggest angle that I've brought in even into my business. For us, our social media is automated. So in as much as someone has lost her or his job, the fact that I had to follow up on someone to just post a post or create content did not make sense to me because we were chasing other things. So that part of automation really, really assisted us. The next thing we've moved into is automating finance. Mtu wa finance akicheza mlango ataona. It is either you up your game in using the AI tool or it actually kicks you out. And I love that is, first of all, saving us time and it's saving us a lot of money. I wouldn't have seen those angles if I didn't actually take a break, because you're always just head on trying to get funding and to do things, yet you're probably bleeding more than you're actually creating business sense. So yeah, taking a pause is not a bad thing. Taking a pause and stopping, that's a bad thing. Taking a pause, re-strategizing and coming back up again,
that's a win.
Even better.
Yeah. For you, Kenneth, you shocked us earlier because we were thinking you were still in our age group.
Yes.
But you have bigger experiences than we both do.
Correct.
And probably your learnings are even bigger from your different experiences, but specifically for Berrycom.
Yeah.
What are the key that you would say, man, this one was my take home completely?
Start small, and then the sky is the limit. You can build to be as big as you dream to be. Crucially, stay close to your customer, right? Stay close to your customer, listen to them, because it's their challenges that, for me, I've been resolving. And that led to creation of this particular tool. And these customers are actually multinational level, right? And so the aspiration here for me is actually to be the number one global tech that is AI powered in that space. So I want to beat all those guys who are told who they say are number ones, right?
Yeah.
Then for me, I use technology, or I view technology as an enabler. The beauty of AI today is it's a productivity booster, right? It doesn't replace people. There are some guys who would eventually go home, like the marketing person.
And if they don't
If
up
they
their
don't,
game.
They do not up their game.
Yeah.
But even for them, why don't they join the bandwagon of AI and boost their own productivity? Because they can now offer that service to customers across, right? It's for them looking at their cup as half full, not half empty, right? So it's about that. So I would look at technology as an enabler for business and an enabler for our society in general. As I was coming through, I was wondering, would we ever have an AI president, for instance, right? But that's a long shot. That's just thinking wild. But to me, I think I've enjoyed looking at AI the way I'm looking at it. Then, crucially, what I've tried to do is to build a system. And by system, I don't mean just tech. I'm talking about the processes that would help my business run. And then those same processes are the ones that I would take to somebody else. I'm using my own tech in my own business to run my other departments. Then I'm now saying, okay, maybe I could also roll it out there, and I've added features that would compete globally, in my view. So yeah, that would be my take. I think there's nothing to fear. It's all easy. It's all easy. We get in there, we get it done, and tomorrow is a new day.
Tomorrow is a new day. Two things have come up as you guys were, sharing your thoughts. Number one, when you talk about AI, I know it's still a very nascent topic, but I don't think it's very nascent anymore. I think it's here with us. And I'm going back to the theme of the MSME Day this year, which is the future generation of SMEs. So looking at businesses like yours. Number two, when you talk about AI, maybe we can start with that one. The one thing I still believe in whatever AI can do and will do, and the importance of us getting in touch and getting to understand it and to regulate AI and all that, it's the fact that you can never take the humanness in human interaction. It does. I don't think we can. And I hope we will ever get to the point where AI has taken that aspect. Make all the claims that you want. I've seen people's chats about, different interactions between AI and people, some intimate, some weird stuff happening. But do you believe that truly AI can ever take that humanness from us human? Like it can ever replace that connection between you and me, when we are interacting in the same way you interact, and especially for you, Kenneth, who is already, in that space. Do you see is this the same thing really?
I think technology is important, yes.
Yes.
But it is only as valuable if it is solving real human problems. And that already tells you that people are number one. In all the deployments of systems I've done for the last over 20 years, there's always been a focus on ensuring that the people can use the technology in a particular process format. So you design your processes, the technology is there, but people are the ones who have to get trained and run that particular tool. It's the same even in this day of AI, right? The difference would be where you would have used 20 people, you would use 4. Right? And so there's some labor efficiency that comes through that, and then there's productivity that would come through that. There'll be better decision making that AI will bring forth. But that does not mean that the people are not required. You can redeploy them, take them to sales so that they sell, so that they like now for her, she was saying going to the coast and selling in that market. Those are guys who would do that. In the Kenyan context, for instance, when would I perceive that AI would drive a truck? That's a long shot at this point from where I sit. So logistics jobs will still be there. Driver jobs will still be there. The delivery assistant jobs will still be there. Production operator jobs will still be there. Some guys will be hit like accountants or marketers and all, but they can now move into a different space. Yes, absolutely. Today, when I'm talking to my lawyers or the legal team, by the time I'm conversing with my lawyer, I have already consulted AI.
Get
I
an
have
understanding.
information.
Yes. Yeah.
The jargons they'll use
Yes.
will not be jargons as I can understand.
Exactly. So that conversation becomes a shorter conversation that I'm understanding, and we make decisions faster. Now, for the lawyer on their side, not only are they protected, I think, by the advocate role and the rules in the judiciary, where a human being who's a lawyer has to show up in front of a judge. That already protects them. But they should be happy that I'm informed.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I won't make some blunders
Yes.
that will cost my case,
Yes.
so to speak. So I think AI is there as technology, and it'll help us become more productive.
Yeah. It's up to us now to decide how we interact and how
It's
we
actually,
govern
he
it.
said it so well, it's efficiency, productivity goes up. So instead of someone sitting and doing just finance work, which is data entry and keying in info from morning to evening, that person could be repurposed into dispatch.
Correct.
Could be repurposed into following up with a client kama alipata vitu. So it's not just, it's supposed to be a tool that enables and helps, as opposed to be like this is something that has come to replace my job. I'd say as an entrepreneur, I'm at the verge of literally mixing AI with my WhatsApp, because someone will come and say, "Hi Lorna, I need something," and then there are 10 of them, and I've done probably my own things over here, and I forgot to come and reply. For me, that's already sales lost.
Correct.
Or an opportunity lost. So if AI can be able to actually detect this is someone who wanted something, could even say hi and then send out 1, 2, 3 messages, and then come and alert me, hey, this person is actually a serious person, figure out what they want, then it helps me in being able to optimize my time, because time is the one thing that I feel like entrepreneurs,
And you already
really,
have
really
the
need
tools
to.
for that. You're the
Yes.
only one who
Yes.
you're,
So that's
you're the
what
one who
I've-
hasn't yet
That's where I'm
taken it
really
up.
fully integrating a lot of these things in even how the person who does replies to our WhatsApp channels and does the booking of sales. She has a job, but even through that, I understand she can get overwhelmed. So even AI can come and assist, then why not? So for me, I'm seeing it as a tool to enable. And then if you're not able to pick up and understand that that's a thing that supports you, then that door will really be very open.
very open. You want to say something?
Yeah, I love that angle, because for one of my clients, I think last week we had that conversation. How can we pull in AI into the WhatsApp space? And orders are coming in via WhatsApp. They get lost in translation. So how can we then surface it? And that conversation was actually exciting. And I did 1 or 2 things. Showed them 1 or 2 things. And let me not say beyond there.
But that tells you that you can also
Yeah.
already start.
As we have, 3 weeks ago, that was the shift that I did for the business, and it has really helped us.
Yeah,
That's
very
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But I also want to ask about now that we have that aspect of the conversation on the future generation. A lot of the things that we keep talking about future generation is actually already happening. But we cannot ignore the fact that there is still another generation that is going to come after us and far. So the issue of generational differences and gaps in the workplace for entrepreneurs like yourselves, how are you, dealing with that? I keep hearing a lot from her about, the how people approach work, how employees are approaching work.
Yeah.
And it's out there, it's in the open
Yes.
about how different generations are approached. As millennials, watu wa 9 to 5. Na kuna wengine wako hapo, I'm just here for 2 hours.
remote
I need
job?
to I need to check out.
It's a sales job. How would it be a remote job?
So how are you dealing with those generational gaps as an entrepreneur who is still trying to figure out other operational, issues,
Yeah.
and at the same time deal with human resource. And I don't know whether for you have already, I'm assuming not, put into place all the departments that you require to operate. So you're still doing a lot of the operations,
Yes. Yeah.
the same person.
Yeah.
How are you dealing with it?
That is quite a struggle, I'd say, especially
I see the way he's laughing.
I pray that we get to a point where it's an understanding. Last week I had a very candid conversation with a friend of mine who is in business, and his business is in the behavioral change business. So they are contracted to map out how people think, how they choose product, how they interact with the world, how they interact with each other. And I'd say vent. I was venting how I do not understand, how I'm not able to completely understand what the younger generation wants in terms of work. I could give you the laptop to go home and key in data or do things from there. But at the end of the day, if that work has not been done, would it matter if you sat in the house or if you came to the office? I just wanted the work done. So trying to be, okay, I'll be flexible, work from home. But if I feel like I have to keep monitoring you after every 2 hours to ask you if you did that job, then that becomes quite a huge challenge. You remove the aspect of business growth to now reducing to managerial positions. We are not that big, so we are quite a lean team and trying to work within each other's roles. So this friend of mine actually told me that with dealing with that generation, the way for us probably in the olden ways it would be, I've said I want work done by 9, you come to the office and you're done by 5. And if you don't do it, you'll tell me what you are doing. That does not work to them.
Not anymore.
No. In fact, to an extent where if they come in the office, you have to say, are you okay? Is everything going on well in your family? Did you eat breakfast today? So you see this job, we will need you to do from here to here. There has to be such a deeper interaction and connection that if you don't change, you might lose on a whole generation, and that's the aspect that they're moving into. And he said they are very adamant in how they want interactions. Like someone will not do a job just based off how you talked to them. So you told them, and
or
I
how
need
you
that,
looked at them.
Yes, I need that job done by 5, and then they'll not actually do it. Just whether it's proving a point or not, it's just that the next day when you ask what happened, it's like, but you didn't talk to me in a nicer way. You didn't let me know in a so it's learning. Actually, I'd say in this space, I am learning a lot of
in the room.
I'm learning a lot of communication. I'm learning a lot of the olden ways of how we probably used to do things might not work in the new or in the future. And you see, I see this as a generational product or business that I'll need to give. So if I identify someone who's younger than me, who could pick up this role and actually do it better than me, I will nurture that talent. So I'm trying to find my footing in, are you okay? I also want our work done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kenneth, are you okay?
I'm perfect.
You're not dealing with that yet.
No, I'm dealing with it in a different way, of course. Given the verticals I play in. Gen Zs, and I love them. I love their energy.
Yeah.
They are people just the way millennials are, Gen Xs are. Let me now take it straight home. In the logistics business, the driver who's older is working with a Gen Z who's younger. But the challenges are the same, right? They have to get to work at the same time. They have to leave work at the same time. They're exposed to the same challenges around alcohol in the same way, right? And other things. So what then I've done is put rules around it. You will not be, any of you will not be drunk in the car. It's a very simple thing. You're not coming to work drunk. Things should not miss from customer loads. It's a simple thing. If it's missing, we are charging you. And so the rules apply across
the
board.
board.
Yes.
Then, and now that's for the guys in the field. Then we have those in the office, and I'll talk about two scenarios. For the control tower solution that we are deploying for one of my customers, there's a Gen Z who I've never met in the last 1.5 years. We just talk on phone, right? But the work is getting done.
Yeah.
And the customer service level was at 98.4%. Right? So they're getting the job done. They are working from home. It's helping them with their cost management, and the customer is happy. Then there's another one who sent me, I told her, give me a presentation on what we need to strategize and do.
Yeah.
And then she went into AI, did the presentation, sent it to me, right? And it was quite comprehensive. I was like, this is well done. But then, now let's discuss the content. So now we went into the content.
The human aspect
Yes.
of you having interacted with the content and understanding
Exactly.
it.
And she actually brought it out well. And so I asked her, at that time I had not known that she had used AI. So I asked her, did you use PowerPoint? And she was like, no. What is, she actually asked me, what is PowerPoint? So I was like, okay, so what did you, I had to go into that mode of what did you use? So she told me what she used. Then now...
What did she use?
She used ChatGPT
to
do a presentation. Then she started using some other for Excel and stuff. So she's not using Excel, she's using something else.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I've learned from you. Now let's now discuss the content. And when we discussed the content, I actually added value to the expectation. So I was like, okay, then we will approach the market this way. And do. The conversation completely shifted from you didn't get this comma right in this PowerPoint.
Yes.
So so that has been my brief experience.
Yes. It's good to hear both your experiences as employers, as entrepreneurs. I think for me, I love being in the middle of all of it. Because now I get to have and I get to work with the older generation, but also with the Gen Zs. And I still find myself, some aspects shifting towards the work ethics of this generation and the work ethics of this other generation, while at the same time keeping my own. But I think at the middle of it all is just, creating an understanding of this needs to be done this way.
Yeah.
It's not cast on stone that it has to be on. If you don't do it this way, then we are done.
Yeah.
But it is getting it. You can find your own creating your. The way he has said, we get to learn from each other, and we make the workplace better.
Correct.
I want us to end the conversation, but I think there's still a lot that we can talk about.
Yeah.
But in a minute, if you were to face, because both of you have mentioned in the course of the conversation that there's still need for fundraising, there's still need for getting more, resource mobilization. If you were to sit across a potential funding partner in a few seconds, less than a minute, state your case, starting with Lorna. You can address the camera.
So for me, ideally, funding unlocks a lot in my business. I have been at it for the past, I'd say, 2 years consistently. I'm looking for patient capital, and patient capital really helps me grow in this country. It's quite a hard one to come across. So anyone in the space of debt, anyone in the space of equity, I'm really open to seeing what you can do. My funding needs ideally would be stock and a little bit of working capital, but it's an investment worth getting into because the returns is something that this country can actually give in a magnitude. So anyone who's probably interested and who'd want to join me in this space of menstrual health, there's a lot of opportunities. And beyond that, there's a lot of things to even move through access, which is what I'm also trying to currently create. And so, I'm open to anyone who's willing to partner. even in the space of probably providing marketing, providing distribution in terms of distributors or wholesalers, or just marketing that aspect. So and it might not be fully monetary. It could even be consultancy or anything on the sort. So I'm open. I'm open to anything. Yes.
Great. A quick one. What are the current margins for that one packet in terms of the production and the sale cost?
I'd say it ranges between 30 to 55%. Yes.
Kenneth.
Right. My team and I have built something fantastic. And out in the market, if I name the number one ERP solution to be SAP from where I sit, we've just built something better than those guys. And if you want to be a part of the next M-Pesa, I think you need to get in touch. The solution is so good that at first glance it sells to any multinational worth its salt. And what we are trying to do also is to make sure that it is accessible to the MSMEs market and segment as well, with solutions that make sense to them and solutions that make life easier for them as well, as we've discussed through this entire podcast. So please reach out. We are very open to is it equity funding? We are very open to that. We are open to loan funding as well, because there's a vertical of this business that requires assets for purposes of moving goods around for people. And so we are very open to those discussions. Please reach out. We'll be grateful to have that conversation.
I've really enjoyed conversing with the both of you. The passion that you bring into your businesses is reflecting in this conversation. Yeah. The articulation of the solutions that you're providing is also, it shows that you understand the markets that you're serving. You understand the people that you're providing solutions to. And you also understand the gaps and where you come in to fit, but also where you need assistance with. Yeah. It's been such a pleasure, and I want to wish you all the very best as you scale, as you move into the East African markets, as you become the next M-Pesa. Yeah. I know that I want to be part of your circles, if you allow me.
Absolutely.
And thank you for staying with us throughout this SME Diaries conversation. Until next time, we want to wish you a happy MSME Day. I have been your host, Josephine Wawira. Ciao.
Brought to you by CH Studios, creating content that connects.